Let's start with the remarkable fact, as you pointed out, that it is the G20 that it is meeting rather than the G8 to deal with an international financial crisis. And this is truly important because it means that countries like China, India, Brazil, which always deserved a seat at the table, now have their seat at the table. The big issue is whether they have the influence that goes with it. And I think that will require a much more substantive change in both the way the major economies of the G8 deal with these economies, bring them into the decision-making process, and particularly in the context of international institutions like the IMF, actually allow them to have much more of a say. But if they're going to have the say, the question is what can be done by this group together? Having the G20 leaders here and the very senior leaders who have come here stand together, I think, has very important symbolism. And the symbolism is important because one of the issues we're dealing with right now is not just the collapse of real economies and the financial sector in certain economies, but a generalized collapse of confidence. And having these leaders stand together, I think, does convey a very powerful symbol that these leaders are ready to do something and throw what they can at the problem. There are two dimensions to the problem, of course. One is the macroeconomics, the other part is the financial system, and I think you cannot anymore separate these two out. What they can do substantively, I think, is macroeconomics right now. China has already announced a fairly large stimulus package. Various other countries are following, and I think there is a strong case to be made that a coordinated action on this front can provide much more of a bang for the buck than individual countries acting together. But then the much deeper issue is what you have brought up, the financial sector regulation. And this is not easy. I mean, ultimately, we have to recognize the fact that financial markets around the world have become much more interrelated across countries, and within countries, they have reached a level of sophistication that is going to take a while for us to discover and to work our way through.